Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great day today. My name is Ida Lee, and this is Raw Emotions. And I just, first of all, would like to say, thank you to everyone who's reaching out. It's appreciated. You hear me. This community, we have a voice, and it's recognition. It's an awareness, and that's my mission. So I thank you. I thank you for subscribing and for following this journey so far. It's just a small little snippet, into the world that we wish we could shout out. Who's going to listen to me? Who do I talk to? Who do I tell? And for me, this is my outlet. It's almost, you are your own best therapist. So I take it on a new role. Excuse me. But today, I guess I would like to talk about insurance, and what that has meant in our lives. The wonderful world of insurance. And the first thing that comes to mind right now is our wheelchair. She has been in this wheelchair now for 4 years. I believe this is going on our 5th year. And we need it modified. We need it to be able to recline. So the wheelchair seat right now, sits in this position, and you can move the whole thing back. I can tilt the whole thing back, okay? I need the seat to recline flat, okay? So that's the wheelchair. I had coffee. Can you see me shaking? My girlfriend, Christina, has me hooked on cold brew coffee, so I only do about an ounce a day, and it gives me... I love coffee, but I get the jitters. Sorry. But so I need the seat to recline. And, Molina had sent a therapist out to the house back in November. They needed an evaluation for a walker because, the doctors know the multiple diagnoses. And then, of course, the PT therapist notes not enough information. So, I entertained the gentleman that came out to the house and answered all of his frivolous questions that were very superficial. Look at her don'ts. Look at the charts. That's all I got to say. And so I bring out the wheelchair because in my mind I'm thinking, well, geez, you sent this guy out for the walker. You're going to be sending him back out for this wheelchair. So I bring the wheelchair out to him, and I'm showing how we need to modify it and what we need to do and why. And, 2 years ago, she had to have reconstructive hip surgery. Unfortunately, what had happened is her right hip never fully formed or developed because of the DVT, the deep vein thrombosis, that she was given when she was 3 months old. Yeah. So she had to have reconstructive hip surgery for that. And she almost didn't make it. She went into status epilepticus. She was seizing uncontrollably and had to be put into a medically induced coma for 6 days. Do you think I want to repeat that? Do you think that's even an option? Even a glimmer of a thought of an option? No. No. Surgery will not be an option. And she does have a DNAR on her, and that's something that I'll explain later. Not ready to go into that yet. I'm finding when I bring stuff up, instead of stopping talking, I need to continue because this is raw emotions. I can't do take after take after take. I have to keep going. So that's why if you see these impromptu moments, with the children walking in or the dog barking, I'm not stopping the video. I'm keeping it going because I can't cry on demand, and it's not that I want to cry. I got to release this. I got to get it out, and it's real. It's real, and I'm doing myself an injustice if I can't be real about it. So, anyways, back to surgery. It's not an option. So I brought the chair out, and I was explaining why we need it to recline, and why I need her to be able to lay fully, supine in her wheelchair. It's to be able to stretch that hip out. I mean, I've already said she'll cross the left leg over that right leg, and she'll do this motion with her hips. Well, if I can't control that, guess what? That hip's being popped out again. I said surgery's not an option. And it's usually a behavioral issue. You know, if there's anxiety going on, she's trying to communicate. I'm thinking communication right now is she's got to go potty because as soon as she's starting to fuss a little bit or start her legs, I'll ask her, you know, Bella, let's go sit on the potty. And sometimes I get a response and sometimes I don't, you know, and so we're working through this. But, you know, it's not an option. So I'm explaining this to him, you know, and we have to stretch this hip out, you know, and blah, 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 blah. We turn the script in January, and I get a denial letter. At the bottom paragraph of the denial letter, it states, client wants wheelchair to change, our caregiver wants wheelchair to change daughter's diaper in. That's why we were denied. Never mind the fact of all these multiple diagnoses. Never mind the fact that you can pull up this reconstructive hip surgery. Never mind the fact that they were wanting to put her on Neurontin, because of her doing her legs when it's a behavioral issue. She's trying to communicate here, doctors. Come on. I'm not going to give her something that's going to suppress when she's trying to communicate. You know, I am not that parent that's going to put her in a corner and medicate her and walk away. I'm sorry. It's not happening. So I have to fight a lot with a lot of different people. And it's really hard and it's really frustrating and it really just pisses you off. That life has to be this hard, that the struggle for a quality of life has to be this hard. So I called Melina, the letter that was on the denial letter, the number, that was on the denial letter, and I asked to speak to someone who can explain to me, you know, why we were denied, and what I needed the doctor to do in order for us to be able to get this modification done. And I was actually transferred to the nurse who decided the diagnosis. I left a very detailed message with that lady, a very detailed message. Within, 2 hours, I get a call from National Seating and Mobility, that when we're able to, from our caseworker. And she was all flustered and upset, and she was, you know, did you just call Nurse Melissa over at Melina? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm actually waiting for her to call me back. And she's like, well, she's not going to call you back, and I'm just listening. And she says, well, I just got reamed out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, who gave you her name and number? And I said, they did. You know, I said I was reading the denial letter and I found the number to call, and I called and asked to speak to somebody who could explain this to me. And long story short, this nurse chewed this woman upside and down for giving out her name and number to me, the parent, requesting why we were denied. And she wasn't going to call me back. She refused to speak to me. And I said, okay, I'll call her back and leave another nice little message, because she's supposed to be calling me back. I've got a brain. I can read. You know, I called the number I was supposed to call. I didn't call her back because this poor woman is the go-between between the parent and the insurance company. You know, she has to have a working relationship with this woman. So it's not my intention. You know, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus when I do these videos, and that's why a lot of times I leave names out. I try to be respectful. You know, this is my story. It's my walk. If you're affected by it, then you need to ask yourself why my story is affecting you. I'm the one living it, people. But anyways, you know, so I told her I would not call back and give her a piece of my mind. But I did call and file a civil rights violation because I thought, you know, come on. How can you deny this little girl a wheelchair modification when we have ample diagnoses? She just had hip surgery she almost didn't come back from, okay? She almost didn't survive. Yeah. And we're getting denied on being able to recline the wheelchair. So, Filed the civil rights violation. Get a letter back. I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks later. It took a while, and it was in my name. They had filed the civil suit violation in my name, civil rights violation in my name. So I immediately called back and said, hold on, this is supposed to be in my daughter's name, my daughter's wheelchair. I don't need a wheelchair. Pull up my record. You know, what do you people have both of our records here. What's going on? I was told by the gentleman, by the specialist, all the doctor had to do was resubmit the script. They had lost it, and the modifications would be approved. And I said, okay, so all the doctor has to do is fax the script in. I said, is there a special number? No. Doctor faxed the script in twice. Don't you love how everything's happening in twos? Doctor faxed the script in twice. I'm not getting anywhere with these people. So I filed another civil rights violation. Absolutely, long story short, we ended up going through a hearing over the telephone, through the courts, and they denied the wheelchair modifications, stating that the script was written for the parent, caregiver, to be able to change the diaper in the wheelchair. Never mind all these medical diagnoses. Never mind this hip surgery or potential hip surgery. Never mind any of that. Let's deny on the sole fact that this poor woman wants to be able to change her diaper in her child's wheelchair, which of fact I do have an issue with, people. I do. How old are your children when you are changing their diapers? 2, 3, 4, if you're not potty trained, and let's just face it, it's just lazy at that point. Okay. We're 9. We're still in diapers. She's 3 feet 8 inches long. She's 40 pounds of dead weight that can move in any different way, okay, in any different position that she wants to. So those little units that come off a wall on a restroom changing table, do you know how hard that? I've got 2 hands, and you want me to put her up on there and wrangle everything around, change her diaper? It doesn't work. As she's sliding off, you know, half the time I'm holding one end of it up with one knee and trying to hold her on there, you know. But yeah, let's deny for that reason, okay? Forget everything else. And the judge's response to that was, because we were getting ready, I had stated that we were switching insurance companies because this was just ridiculous. Hi, honey. We were in the middle of switching insurance companies because they had, the story is so long and it goes in so many different directions. They just dumped her from her insurance. She was just dropped. But before that had happened, the judge had said, well, you know, I'm going to deny you with Molina. You need to resubmit it with the new insurance company, and it will be approved. And one of the main reasons, or their citing reason, besides the changing table, for denying this wheelchair was from pressure sores that were not clinically diagnosed in her medical chart. She has a DNAR on her, and that's something that I'll talk about later. We don't run to the doctor for every sniffle, for every time she throws up 6 times in one day, for every seizure, 6 in one day. I'm not going to run to the doctor for pressure sores when I can take care of them at home. She's had 2. There's that 2 again. Excuse me. She's had two of them, you know, and it's positioning her. She cannot stand up, and she can't wiggle around in the chair. She can't stand up and reposition herself. She can't roll over in the bed. She does roll from her back to her sides, but she doesn't roll to her stomach, you know, so we have to continually move her around. Why am I going to take her to the clinic for a pressure sore that I can take care of here at the house? So the judge had said that, you know, suggested that I call the doctor and inform them of the pressure sores as well. So back to this, civil rights violation. I called Lansing, which is our state capital, filed with them, haven't heard anything. I would have to get online and see who I emailed. Someone, I found an organization through DC somewhere, filed with them, haven't heard anything. It's unfair. I don't get it. I don't get how our rights are stomped on, trampled on, chucked aside, and it's okay. It's frustrating. It makes me angry. You just, you want to scream, you want to shout, and who do you yell to? Who do you contact? I'm doing all the right things. I'm contacting all the right people. No one's listening to me. You contact an advocate service and you tell them what you need, and they say, well, you're doing a good job. I need help. It's a broken system, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it, and no one is able to do anything about it, or willing to do anything about it, or wants to do anything about it. And I don't get it. I don't get it. So we're left here struggling. Those 3 pieces of equipment that were delivered the other day, price tag, $25,000. $25,000 for 3 pieces of equipment. You attach special needs to anything. Starting price, $5,000. Yeah. And you wonder why we're strapped for cash. Yes, insurance does cover it. They'll only pay for certain things. As far as they're concerned, she can sit in that wheelchair all day long. All day. Yeah, she doesn't need anything else to sit in. The hospital bed? Pfft, why does she need that to incline? Congestion? Throwing up? She'll be fine. Everything's a fight. I get people take advantage of the system, but to this degree, I don't see that happening. I don't even see how that's possible. You hear those little snippets of stories here and there. Again, here and there. I don't think this is a widespread issue, but it is, and it's frustrating. And so, who do I call? What do I do? I switched the insurance company. She was actually dropped from her insurance carrier. We are able to get supplies delivered to her. She's in diapers. We have to get the Chucks pads. Those help. We lay them down, to do enemas or to help with disposable pads. Wet ones. We only qualify for one little box of wet ones because we have to have fragrance-free, and we qualify for 1 tub of wipes monthly. Okay. And then also her feeding supplies, which is her tubing, the syringes, we get little split pads, stuff like that. Anyways, it had been a couple days, and then, time's going by, and I'm thinking, okay, where's our stuff? Where's our deliveries? And so I get on the phone, and I'm calling one of our suppliers, and was told, should be delivered, everything looked fine. A month later, after no delivery, I finally get somebody who says, oh, well, she doesn't have insurance. I'm like, what do you mean she doesn't have insurance? This is explaining where all of our deliveries are. She's able to pull up her chart and tells me that she doesn't have insurance. So I immediately called my caseworker at Children's Special Health here in Michigan, who is a wonderful woman who deserves a raise, who has 3 different computer systems, 3 different computer systems on her desk that do not communicate with each other. 3 different programs that this woman has to access each client on, get information, because nothing talks to each other. So if her programs don't talk to each other within her own program, her own agency, no other agencies talk. No other agencies talk, which is really frustrating, which I don't get. But anyway, so I called her and I'm like, Kelly, what's going on? She doesn't have insurance. The first time this happened, we did have private insurance, and they just clicked her one day that she had died, that she was deceased. That was an interesting call to get, let me tell you. A very interesting call to get. I'm in the middle of a doctor's appointment. We're in the waiting room. I'm on the phone hearing my daughter sitting next to me is dead, and it's like, I gotta keep this together. Yeah, you know, keep your shit together. So I said, okay, what do I have to do? For whatever reason, Molina, and it's only Molina of Michigan, Children's Special Health Care for our disabled children, that goes through and kicks children off willy-nilly whenever it feels like it. So she was put on straight Medicaid. Straight Medicaid will only cover certain things after you have it for a month. You're only allowed to have straight Medicaid because after that month you have to switch back over to another insurance carrier. Didn't know any of this, okay? So we didn't have equipment or supplies delivered. So here I am, or with 3 months, I'm sorry, 3 months. The kids have to be on it for a month, and then it has to take so long for the supplies to be delivered, which apparently when you go through Medicaid, it takes longer for the supplies to be delivered, or equipment. So you might as well just wait for the other Medicaid insurance to kick in. This whole insurance thing's a debacle. It really is. I don't get it. It's a joke. It really is. You know, we had private insurance at one point in time, and we didn't qualify for jack squat. We're unfortunately right now unable to have, private health insurance. She has the state Medicaid. We still don't qualify for anything, people. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But the insurance. So yeah. So we're waiting for this wheelchair modification. We're waiting for the wheelchair modification. And I switched insurance companies. We're with Meridian now. And that script was turned back in July 1st. It is September 4th. And we have still not gotten any confirmation that they've received it. What do I do? What do I do? Who do I go to from here? All I want is her wheelchair to be able to recline. That's it, for her hip. So anyways, I'm getting bored. I'm tired. I'm starting to lose my train of thought. You can see that. I need to run to the store, get a few things. She's going to be home in a little bit. And with that said, we all have struggles. All you can do is just appreciate where you're at in your day, in your walk. We get so wrapped up in you're doing this to me and you're hurting me, and we're victims. We play that victim card, and it's really easy to get caught up in it. Heck, I do it all the time. But you got to step back from it, and you have to find your peace. And it's the system. We're caught up in the system. Figure it out. Don't be caught up in it. Take a step back, relax. Don't play the game. So yeah. So find your peace. Find your happiness. I know I say that a lot, I have to remind myself, it's hard. We get so busy. I forget to breathe. Shit, I forget to eat. Life happens, Love yourself, love each other, and be kind. That's all you can do. Spread your love. Have a great day.